Guys, it's Luke here of SimBoxx. Delighted this evening to be joined once again by Troy Williamson. Troy, thanks for joining us tonight. And first things first, how are you?
Yes, I'm good, Luke. Good mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Just recently started back up with the interviews there at SimBoxx, and you was one of the first names that I wanted to get hold of. So yeah, glad to have some of your time this evening. And let's jump straight into it. We're a few weeks removed from a big win for you, winning the English super middleweight title, stopping Mark Dickinson in 9 rounds. Take us through that performance, Troy. How do you feel you done there in getting that big knockout win?
Yeah, I felt great. I felt back to my old self. Um, Obviously, it's my more natural weight, so I wasn't having to cut a lot of weight and killing myself and leaving all my best work in the gym. So yeah, I felt good.
Let's just start before we go into the fight, the performance, the victory. Matt Dickinson, he come in, is it 5 pounds overweight on the scales, lost the title on the scales? Take us through as the opponent, your thoughts. You've gone through camp, you got yourself in shape, made weight, and then you see the opponent. We've seen, people miss by ounces here and there, but to miss by 4, 5, 6 pounds is quite a lump of weight. What was your thoughts as the opponent, Troy?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit over £5. Obviously, I've failed weight myself with the Ishmael Davis fight, but the thing with me is, well, obviously, when I failed weight, I was £4 over, which, yeah, it is a significantly quite a bit of weight. But with me and when I failed the weight, I was ripped to shreds. So obviously, you could see that I really tried to do it, and I just obviously couldn't make the weight no more. But with Mark, £5 over, and he wasn't really in shape, so obviously these question marks there. Did he take it seriously? Did he take camp serious? But I think he trained hard. I think he was ready because he was fit and he was sharp in there. And he managed to do 9 rounds. So he was obviously definitely in the gym. He was just obviously not watching what he was eating.
Did you ever get any kind of explanation from Mark or from the team after the fight, or after the weigh-in even, as to why he'd missed the weight by such a drastic amount?
I just heard that he done the water cut wrong, but like you're not gonna like if you I don't know. I don't know. There's excuses in it like how can you do the water load wrong? Yeah, it is what it is.
Like you say, you've been on both sides of the argument. You've seen Mark Dickinson miss weight in this instance. You've missed weight yourself when you've been super tight at the weight. In this instance with Mark Dickinson, what was the procedure once you missed weight? Was the discussions with you and your team? Was you have to be in, like, financially compensated for the fight to go ahead? What was the discussions? I know you can't really go into figures and whatnot, but
Yeah,
what
yeah, it
kind of
was like financially compensated for the fight to go ahead. We tried to ask for second day weigh-in the following morning just so it didn't go too heavy, but I obviously matchroom were like there's no chance of that, so obviously we had to just settle on that. But obviously only really wanted to do that just so he didn't go massive in the ring. Which obviously if you when you watch the fight back, like he was a lot bigger than me in the ring. So I reckon he was leaving off cruiserweight in there. I bet he'd been 90 kilo on the night. But I always said weight wasn't an issue. Like the way I trained, the way I was performing in the gym, all I had to do was replicate that fight night, and I knew that I would get the job done. I felt tremendous on the night.
Of course, and you went on to get the job done. But in those early rounds, as the first bell goes, did the game plan alter ever so slightly to think, he's missed weight, he might not be in the greatest shape. We're going to take it late as the fight seemed to go. You stopped him in the ninth. Oh, did you always feel confident that the fight was going to go the way it did? That he was always going to drag him into deep waters, or did it alter slightly?
Nah, like I knew from like we had like I first went up. Obviously, I've got a new training team, so when I first started training with Jordan, I was like, fight was meant to be August the 9th, I think.
Mhm.
So we only had 6 weeks. So I thought 6 weeks is enough time to get fit. I'll peak perfect, and then it got pushed back. So it was like 8 weeks, and it got pushed back again. So I was in the gym for like 11 weeks, in total. We done like 11 week camp. It was quite long, but what we were doing in the gym and what we were drilling in the gym, the fight went exactly as we expected.
Interesting. Now, I did pick up on commentary. Barry Jones says that I'm going to paraphrase, but words to the effect of at Troy's stage of his career, he's not moving as much as he did. Is this just, naturally you getting older, your fighting style altering? Is it the move up in weight? You're not going to be as fast on your feet. Do you feel like your reflexes aren't what they once were?
You know what? It's like, I like Barry Jones, but he always seems to give me stick and the commentary. I don't know what, don't know what for. No, I think that was the best Troy Williamson that of years that we've had in the last couple of years. So I don't know what that comment was made at. Um, I think that's the best performance that I've had in recent years. Obviously, due to just cutting weight and not being the best version of myself. But yeah, obviously that last performance was I felt great, and I'm only going to get better.
Yeah, no, we keep mentioning weight, whether it be yourself or whether it be Mark. But in terms of this was winning the English super middleweight world title, 168 pounds. So I think, a matter of a couple of years ago, you was fighting at 154 and then 160. Do you look back now and see yourself on the scales or performing at them weights and think, how the hell did I get down to that weight? You see yourself now when you fight at 168, you look shredded, you very, very good condition. Do you kind of wince a little bit in hindsight at the weight making that you used to have to do?
Yeah, like when I look back, I've got some photos on my phone when I made 154, and I'm a shadow of myself. I look like a little kid. Like it wasn't healthy. I had no social life. I wasn't happy in and out of the boxing. I had no life really. I only made the weight just with pure hard work and dedication.
That's it. And people tend to think when you go 154 to 160, it's £6, and then another £8 up to 168. People that aren't really in the know with boxing, they tend to think when you have that free weight and you have a little bit more room to maneuver, people think you're going out there and you're having your Nando's and your McDonald's. It's still really, really strict, isn't it?
Horseman, like I still have to cut to make 168. Like my walking around weights, obviously, as you're getting older, it gets heavier. So I'm always in the gym, always taking over, but like I still have to cut a fair bit of weight to make 168. So for me to do the 154s and even the 160 after I'm 30 months out of the ring, like I struggle to do that. So that's the reason why I decided to do 168. And yeah, I just believe it's my more natural weight. I boxed at something similar 9 years ago as an amateur, so
You mentioned there that you feel like that was your best performance and you're only going to get better. But with the losses that you had on your record, I think it was four losses out your last five fights going into that fight. Was there a point where Troy Williamson thought, this is the career on my line? It's a kind of local derby. There was a lot on the line, the zone, big platform. Was there ever a point where you thought my career was on the line here, that you had to go in and get that victory? And that's maybe why you brought out the very best of Troy Williamson?
yeah, therefore like there was no doubt in my mind if I lost that fight, I wouldn't be boxing again. I was this close to not boxing again after me obviously after going to Vegas, and I knew that there was still a lot left to give. And like the only like there's I've got no regrets in my career because what I've decided to do was off my own back, but I've only really picked up them losses by staying at them lower weights for too long. Really, like you look at my Mark Dickinson fight to the Jahai Tucker fight, which was only 4 or 5 months in between, and it's just two completely different performances. So I just think I stayed at them low weights for too long, and now we're at 168. I'm full. I'm happy. I'm eating more. Obviously a happy fight is a dangerous fight, and I'm enjoying training now. So yeah, there's still plenty left to give and plenty more exciting fights.
I think with the boxing game, it's a cliche, but it's a game of snakes and ladders. You win a solid fight like you did, you go up and there's
Oh,
potential
that's it.
opportunities with like Callum.
When you lose, you won't be down here. Everyone forgets about you.
Well, that's it. That was the point I was going to make. Where you look at Mark Dickinson now, and I think he's entered the GBM eight-man prize fighter style tournament. And that comes with a lot of jeopardy. Three fights in one night. You can take a couple of losses, and there's a whole load of slips that can be made in that kind of style of tournament. Whereas yourself, you've gone up the ladder, and now you're looking at a potential fight with heavily rumored Callum Simpson, which would be a huge fight. I was there at his last fight in Barnsley. He's selling out football stadiums. That'd be a cracking opportunity for yourself, Troy.
Yeah, it'd be a great fight. Obviously, they obviously his manager approached me after the win. So yeah, like I've heard like it's like you said, it's heavily rumored. So hopefully it can be made, and hopefully it can be made before the end of the year.
Is Callum Simpson someone you've ever shared a ring with in terms of sparring, training? Have you ever had any interactions with Callum?
No, never. Never really bumped into him on any shows. Really, that's the first really time that I bumped into him when he came and seen me fight. So seems like a nice guy. I follow him on social media. Trains hard, good fighter. Um, Not like myself. Comes forward, likes to tear up. He's got a very fan friendly, a very fan friendly style like myself. So it'll make a good fight.
I was going to say there with you two guys, two honest pros, no real bullshit for the want of a better phrase. That there wouldn't be any of these table throw-ins or antics at the press conference. It's just two solid pros that know how to fight, and it would, like you say, be a very fan-friendly fight. How, if we was to put a percentage on how likely that is to be your next fight, would you be able to give us a number?
From what I've been told, they really want to fight. Um, and obviously, I'll fight anybody I really want to fight. So potentially could happen next. Can't see why not.
Are we looking
Um,
2025, 2026?
yeah, end of 2025, I believe. So I'm in the gym training, taking over. So yeah, when the call comes, I'll be ready.
Interesting. We look forward to a potential announcement. Troy, while I've got you, it's always good to talk boxing, so I want to pick your brains with a couple of goings on in the sport at the minute. Yesterday, we had the breaking news of Ben Whittaker signing with Matchroom. He had that excellent video posted on social media to announce the signing. What do you think of Ben Whittaker signing to Matchroom? It seems like a match made in heaven, doesn't it?
That's massive. I think Matchroom will just elevate into that next level, to superstardom. I think Ben Whitaker's very, very good at what he does, selling the fights, and he obviously can fight. The video was mental. The video was like he must have got paid some sign on fee to do that to make Eddie and do that. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. Now with Ben Whittaker, he's got that persona, hasn't he? Love him or hate him, almost like a Floyd Mayweather towards the end of Floyd's career, where people was paying to watch him win just as much as they were paying to watch him lose. And Ben's already formulated that game plan, hasn't he? Inside and outside the ring, he's got a very Marmite style. From your perspective, what do you make of the antics in the ring? When he seems to be for the want again of a better phrase, disrespecting his opponents with some of these playing around, tapping them on the head, dancing around. What do you make of that as a fellow pro boxer?
Um, if it was me, if I was in there, I'd find it very, very frustrating. That's just obviously Ben Whitaker. I like Ben Whitaker. Like him as a person, I like him as a fighter. So, some people don't like it, some people do. I just like watching him fight.
Now, one thing that I wanted to get your opinion on, you've done the small hall shows, you've done the big time shows, and everything in between. We're talking of a potential stadium fight with Callum Simpson next. There's this been this topic that's been brewing in British boxing, and Anthony Crawler commented on it recently. Is British boxing in a crisis for you, Troy, with the influx of Saudi money, fights taking place all across the world? Is the British boxing scene, like the hardcore boxing scene in the UK, suffering in your opinion?
I seen the interview with Colour. It is and it isn't. I think obviously Turkey Al Sheikh wants to see good fights, 50-50 fights. And I think if you're at that level, you're going to get the opportunity where, as the kids that are just coming through, obviously might end up suffering. Obviously on the small hall shows where you have to sell tickets, but I'm a big believer in like you've got to be patient, and I do think your time will come. So like all these guys, obviously I had one previously with me, my old stablemate Bobby Dalton. He just previously won the English title, beat a very good fighter in Ben Vaughan. Like stuck to the craft. He started at selling tickets on the small hall shows. He got the English title shot. Went all the way down to Stoke. Beat the champion in his own backyard, and he's got another massive fight in a few weeks. And he's a prime example of sticking to your craft, and hard work pays off. So all these guys that are on these small hall shows that might not be getting the opportunity, I think you just gotta stay with it because it will come.
Good words, good words. Troy, what's your opinion on Boxer signing with the BBC and being on one of the most linear TV channels in the country? And they'll be broadcasting, I think it's 4 shows per year. Potentially even a Callum Simpson, Troy Williamson fight could land on the BBC. But what do you think of that move, leaving Sky Sports and signing with BBC?
I think terrestrial however you say it. I
Terrestrial.
think it's terrestrial. I think it's massive. I think it's massive because not a lot of people obviously can afford Sky or can afford obviously like these fancy channels. So I think BBC, I think, could become huge. I think they just need to put the right fights on. I'm not sure who boxer. Obviously, they've just lost Ben Whitaker, which is a massive loss. I know they've got Callum Simpson, but once I take care of him, then who they got? So, but I think it could be big.
Yeah, definitely got the potential to be something there. Speaking of yourself boxing at the super middleweight division, we've seen recently Terence Bud Crawford. This is a fight I think we discussed last time we had you on the channel. Terence Bud Crawford went all the way up to 168, defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez in a fantastic, flawless performance to become a three-time undisputed world champion, a historic event. How impressed was you with Terence Bud Crawford once again in beating Canelo?
Yeah, I said it. I said it once the fight got signed. I said Crawford would be Canelo. I don't, I'm a big Bud fan, and I just said, I said it right from the start that it'll be another Canelo Mayweather. And it showed. Obviously, it was just skills pay the bills, and I think he was a level above.
Do you think these legs for a rematch there? Do you think Canelo will want to look at Bud again and try and get that lick back, or do you think it's water under the bridge, move on to another big fight?
I don't think he'll want to fight Terence again. You seen afterwards, he was just saying that everything he done, he couldn't handle. So yeah, I think Terence Crawford is a generational great.
Do you put any thought or any weight behind the Terence Crawford Floyd Mayweather comparisons and who would and who wouldn't win? And we love as boxing fans to have these fantasy fights, your Tysons, your Ali's, your Leonards, your Pacquiao's, all that kind of thing. Do you put any weight behind a Terence Crawford Floyd Mayweather fantasy fight?
No, for me, like I can't compare. I think like everyone's got their own era. And when people say who would win out with Tyson and Ali, like can't compare. I think he's got to recognize them as the greats at the time. Um, but yeah, I think Terence Crawford is obviously he's one of the greatest of my era. But yeah, he's some fighter, very good.
Absolutely. So from the brilliant to the absurd, just to close out, Troy, Jake Paul, and Gervonta Tank Davis, they seem to be having this bizarre circus catchweight fight. Gives you your thoughts. What were you thinking about Jake Paul against Tank?
Like if Jake Paul hits Tank Davis, even if it's on the gloves or wherever, he's gonna send him over to the other side of the ring. Like just the pure size of him and his heavy hands. If he hits him, even if he's got his gloves up, he's gonna send him to the other side of the ring. So I'll tune in and I'll watch it, but I think it's ridiculous.
So, again, yourself, you're on the inside, you're a pro boxer, and, we're talking about fighters and Gervonta Tank Davis that are at the very top of the sport. What's your thoughts on him as a current world champion, multi-time, multi-weight world champion, that he's doing this in what maybe we considered the prime of his career, that he's, obviously it's a lot of money, but he's not going to be short of a few quid, is he? We're not talking about a prospect here. He's made good money, he sells out arenas. What's your thoughts on him doing this in the prime years of his career when he's floating around some pound for pound superstars with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson?
Imagine it.
He's taking on Jake.
I think it's just. I think money talks, and that's obviously basically that all it boils down to is money because. I don't know why. I don't know why he's doing it when there's the Shakur Stevenson's calling him out. There's like Zed Lopez, there's Devin Haney's, plenty of big fights there as well. But he's obviously going to be getting a lot more money for the Jake Paul fight. When I don't even know if it'll go down as a
It's not,
professional bout or is it like yeah. So
we'll go on the records.
like so, yeah. So it's like it's just basically an exhibition. He's going to get paid an absolute fortune for doing it.
Yeah, the funny thing is, again, and I have no, say in either team. Just a boxing fan. But it was quite funny that Gervonta Davis was very much against Turki Al Sheikh Riyadh season. He was poking fun at Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia when they was involved, saying he wouldn't take the knee for Turki Al Sheikh. But now he's kind of gone completely the other way and to Jake Paul for a big payday. There's kind of no middle ground there, is there?
I seen an interview with him. It might have been yesterday or the day before. Like he didn't seem interested in boxing. Hey, when he's saying he wants to do therapy because he wants to get the nasty side out of him and doesn't want to box anymore. Doesn't want to hurt people. Blah blah blah. But I don't know. His head doesn't seem like he's on it, so he might be just be cashing out with the Jake Paul fight.
Interesting. We wait to see how that plays out. Troy, one fight that I was going to talk to you about, but we'll put off is Eubank Ben 2. I think we'll get you back on for another interview closer to the time, and we'll look at that because that's going to be a big event to close out the year. But is there anything you'd like to add before we finish?
I just want to obviously thank everybody that's obviously stayed by me when I've had my hiccups in boxing. Obviously, they all know who they are. Obviously, like I said earlier, once you lose, you're down here and people forget about you. But obviously, once you're winning, everyone wants to be your friend. So, through my highs and my lows, obviously, I've had me day ones that have stuck by me. So, yeah,
Very good words, Troy, and a perfect way to close out. Again, I appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure to speak boxing with you. Thanks for speaking to SimBoxx.
yeah, we'll get back on soon, mate.